if you'll give yourself, thank you, Zoom lady. Thank you, robot Zoom voice, for telling us we're recording. Wherever you are currently, if I can invite you to just simply take a deep breath. I'm going to explain in greater detail as we progress through this why that's important, but I know I needed that. My nerves, the energy. The whole theme of this particular summit is weathering the storm. That's a whole other 4-hour block of time where we can talk about the storms that we've been weathering over the course of the last 18 to 20 months. And then let's add to that whatever it is that we've been dealing with in our own individual lives, with our families' lives, our friends' lives, our coworkers' lives over the course of a lifetime. So I am beyond grateful to have you here. My friends, before we get started, if there's anything that ever comes up that I'm talking about and you have a question about it, feel free to drop it into the chat. I love to answer questions as we go along. My man Corey's going to take care of watching that, and I'll keep an eye on it as well. But I'm also curious as to where everyone is in regards to what they theme or they define meditation to be, restoration, reformation. So think about that for a second. What's your definition of meditation? What's your definition of restoration? What's your definition of reformation? And if you don't mind, if you've got the capability, drop it into the chat. Give yourself a chance to sit with that for just a moment. I'm also proudly, I didn't add this in my bio because I figured my bio was already long enough. But I'm a facilitator as well as a regular attendee for men's support groups. That's how I got connected with the wonderful, incomparable Isaac Rowe. For those of you who know Isaac and know Amber, our hearts go to them. The idea that we can all come together to do something like this is a godsend. And Amber and Isaac are both angels on earth. And so on top of being able to speak to you all today to help facilitate men's support groups on other platforms, I'm also a regular attendee. So all of that said with my bio, straight up, all of that had to be handled with a semblance of faith and humility and grace, because I suffer not daily, my friends, I suffer hourly. There is so much to say about those that have any kind of mental health struggles. I grew up pretty traumatized. Everything I'm about to share with you, please, comes with a warning as a disclaimer. Because if you yourself have been affected, you yourself know someone who's been affected, it's a hard pill to swallow. But so the warning is there. I'm not going to get into details. Just know that I'm going to mention physical abuse, sexual abuse. I've been shot at, and not military combat related, just stupid stuff. I've been locked up. I'm also a first-generation American. My parents were Mexican immigrants. So what we don't talk to a lot when it comes to speaking to meditation or restoration or reformation is that we're also carrying generational traumas. And I can't see a lot of your faces. So whether you're Black, brown, or white or Asian identifying, whether you're identifying as male or female, whatever you identify as, whatever your sexual orientation, I'm a huge activist and advocate for the LGBTQIA+ community. One of the men's groups that I facilitate is a BIPOC only, Black, Indigenous people of color. So men who identify as men, who identify as men of color, we get a chance to sit down. There's so much more to what we've already been added in our plates. So all of that to say, I grew up in this place of, what's going on? But never ever coming to a place where I understood why. And the reason why I asked you to take a deep breath is because there are physiological aspects that benefit you. And we're going to go into all of that. So again, as we move along, if you've got questions that pop up, please let me know. Mark, thank you, Corey. Meditation for me, or I beg your pardon. Thank you, Mark. Intentional clearing of the mind for better focus and spiritual connection. Beautiful. Love it. I like that you said intentional clearing. We're going to speak to being able to sit with our conscious, unconscious, and subconscious minds, because guess what? We can never turn them off. So I love that the definition, or one of the definitions officially of reformed it means you've changed in a way as to have improved. potentially putting yourself in a position to have relinquished a self-destructive lifestyle, self-destructive behavior. And I'm like, yo, I'm on the up and ups then, because where I was to where I am, I'm living proof. And so why restoration and reformation specifically tied to meditation or mindfulness is very important to me. And now I teach it professionally, is because I'm not coming from a place of education only. I'm coming from a place of experience. My friends, as put together as I seem to be right now, 10 minutes before Corey and I connected on Zoom, I had to find myself calming down. Nerves are rising, energy is flowing, and we can find ourselves in positions to help settle our bodies in order for us to then potentially respond to situations. And what are we doing? Amongst weathering the storms, we've been responding to so many situations. What are we currently dealing with on top of our own personal lives? As a globe, pandemic, climate change. As a nation, broken democracy, systemic racism, oppression, misogynistic treatment of women, the discrimination against those that identify as color or indigenous brothers and sisters. I mean, it's already hard enough being a Latin. It's hard enough being a Latin that's bald-headed. And then you add to that being bald-headed and fully tattooed, sleeves across the chest. So by show of hands or emojis, how many of you run into some variation or some sort of form of discrimination or oppression? And I don't mean that, I don't ask that in order to bring up or judge up memories. I just want us to all realize that we're all connected and that each of us individually are facing different kinds of frustrations, hindrances, roadblocks. So I love Mark's answer about meditation being intentional clearing. Thank you for that. And that's all meditation is. Meditation is mindful thinking and the ability or the possibility to create a meditation practice. And that's what it is. It's a practice. It's a dynamic action we honestly have to work on. It's like our golf game. It's like going to swing a baseball bat. It's finding ourselves practicing our hobbies, our favorite sports. But the ability to meditate, to find ourselves in a place to intentionally clear, intentionally slow down, meditation as mindful thinking, that will help to increase our capacity for the discomfort. And we are currently in the midst of too many. I can't speak for everyone. I can only speak from the I, which is me. So approaching what we're doing here today is just a special way to help integrate your mind, what your body does, knowing that you are always at choice, that you carry with you the power of permission. So you get to decide. So no matter what you're feeling, I'm hoping over the course of the next half hour or so, a little bit longer than that, we get a chance to listen to our body and that we allow ourselves grace. There's additional training that I've had in mindful resiliency for trauma recovery, compassion fatigue. And these tools that I've received give me an opportunity to then share with people. There's an idea behind why we breathe. So, question for everyone, one more time. I'm going to ask you all a lot of questions. How many here, by show of hands or emojis, have a regular meditation practice? And while we wait on some answers, Kendra, thank you for sharing. Meditation has been very beneficial for me during this time. Wonderful to hear. Absolutely wonderful to hear.
We got some hands being raised.
Love it.
Can you see the Hoover chat?
No, I can't see the Hoover chat. All I have is.
I'll kind of relay what they're saying. So
I love it.
Saying she has a meditation practice. Tommy has one. Mark has one.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you, Corey, for relaying that. So I ask you that because the other additional questions of that are like, when did it start? How long do you practice? But here's something I want you all to do for me. I'm going to graciously invite you one more time to take a huge deep breath. So first off, let's empty the tank, meaning let's blow all the air out of our body. And then as you breathe in, just think about how the air comes in. So are you breathing through your nose? Are your lips sealed? Is it in the nose, out the nose? Can you take the next couple of breaths and allow the top of the chest to rise? Maybe the rib cage expands. Maybe the belly inflates. And then give your body this unique grace and affection to let the air come out. The invitation still stands to keep playing with that. So as I continue to talk, think about that action. Like, how often do we see it and think, well, the air starts at my nose, travels down my nasal passageway, down the back of my throat, enters my lungs. As it enters my lungs, it's expanding the muscles and the ribs and it's pressing into my heart. It's like the lungs are hugging my heart with every deep breath. It's one of my favorite images. So as the lungs fill, it's hugging my heart, and then it's causing the diaphragm to press down. So I'm going to come down here. So then the diaphragm presses down, and that causes the belly to inflate. So what we've done is taken some air into our body, which is what we do, how often? Thousands, hundreds of thousands of times in our lifetime. And I want to highlight the importance of that single conscious, controlled breath. Where you are right now and what you just did and thinking about your breath, welcome to the Meditation Club. Seriously, that's all meditation is giving yourself a chance to pause, reflect, think about, observe. And that's simply what mindfulness is. I'm going to tell you straight up. Everyone's on this meditation and mindfulness bandwagon. And I say that with some energy and some fervor because all of a sudden it's the hottest thing. One of my saving graces over the pandemic, friends, has been that I've been teaching more corporate meditation. So great, Capital One, IBM, the accreditation board for the deans and colleges. I've worked closely with Echo Shoes, with Nike. Love that they're bringing me in to teach meditation. But why are we just now jumping on it? Oh, because you're also now affected. Oh, I get it. Yoga, meditation was always white girls and Lululemon. No. We're talking about a thousands of years old practice. I haven't even talked about what the body does, but we're talking about a thousands of years old practice that was started by people of color. We're talking the Indian entities, Southeast Asia. We're talking about the wonderfully gifted, beautiful civilizations in Africa, in Mexico, Central and South Americas. But what we see and what's highlighted currently, and this is my bandwagon moment, so soapbox moment for just a moment, is that it's always on the covers of the Yoga Journal, the Instagram influencers. And so I'm assuming, and please forgive me for assuming, but I'm assuming that the majority of our members listening are people who identify as people of color. Because Isaac, Amber, Man and Me, and please correct me if I'm wrong. But this is accessible to our communities. This is accessible to us and is absolutely needed and necessary because the power of restoration, reformation, lies within our own bodies. Again, my friends, you and I, as beautiful as we are, every single one of us is a king, a queen, a warrior, a lover, a magician. We carry all of these traits. And then genealogy-wise, we go back to a lineage of kings and queens and lovers and warriors and magicians. And with that pride, with that strength, we also carry their pain. We also carry hundreds of years of oppression and discrimination. I mean, whole other soapbox moment, whole other Zoom talk. I could spend 8 hours talking about the faults in our current United States of America, but that's not what we're here to highlight. What I want to highlight is that despite all of those faults, we have the power and the capability to help shift and transform, potentially heal. How? One more time, friends. I hope you're all listening intently. I appreciate you. So grateful for you. Take another deep breath in. This time, as you exhale, maybe create some sort of sound. Maybe there's a sigh. Maybe there's an opening or closing of the jaw. that audible sound gives your body an opportunity to relax even further through the cheek muscles, through the jaw, into the neck, into the shoulders. And sometimes we just, you got to sigh it out. I've had a lot of sighs over the last 20 months. I'm going to highlight one of my own personal experiences, again, in hopes that it offers hope. And hope, my friends, is just an aggressive expectation that something good is going to happen. So I hope that this resonates, but I'm not an angel. I feel like I'm an angel on earth. I feel like I'm a part of God's army. I feel like I'm here, and I feel like I've survived all of that stuff that I've talked about. Child abuse growing up. My friends, at 15 years old, I lost my virginity as a rape victim, a 19-year-old female camp counselor. That shifted who I became as a young adolescent, as a young man, and it filled me with rage. So my whole life, I've dealt with getting angry as a way to protect myself. And in the midst of last year's pandemic, in June of 2020, in the midst of burnout and feeling compassion fatigue and carrying all of these vicarious traumas from my family, from my ancestors, I wasn't aware. Sometimes we're not aware of what our body's already carrying. And my partner and I, she and I live in Queens, New York City, had an argument about something, but that argument turned into something horrific. And I became a danger to myself, to her, physically, mentally, emotionally. And it is something that I sit with every day because we're still separated. No idea of reconciliation, but the idea that I put myself yet again in that position is what prompted me to voraciously study what it is I'm about to share. Like, I've been teaching yoga for 10 plus years. I've been leading meditations for 10 plus years, but it wasn't until 2015 that I met the wonderful teachers and ambassadors at the Veterans Yoga Project. And it wasn't until last year that I finally realized all of this comes together for the following reasons. My friends, again, show of hands or emojis, and Corey, feel free to just throw up a hand to let me know people are engaging. But how many people here deal with stress? That's like a loaded question. Sometimes the loaded question is, hey, how are you? Do you want the truth, or do you want me to give you like the 10-second spiel that we give people? Yes, thank you. Of course. Appreciate you, Shireen. Roderick, I see you. Yes. I'm sure multiple people. Yes. So please know, I'm going to say this slowly so that everyone hears me. Please, please, please know there is nothing wrong with you. I'm going to say it again. There is absolutely nothing wrong with you. The issue with mental health struggles in this country is that it's often thought of and referred to as a negative. Let's just take a look at the terms. We talked about mental health issues. We've talked about mental health disorders. Post-traumatic stress as a disorder wasn't even officially labeled till 22 years ago. So let's go back to every single war that our veterans have fought in. Let's go back to every single person who's ever been involved in some sort of abuse situation. Let's go back to those persons who reached a stoplight and almost got hit by another car. All of those traumas, whether the traumas are little t traumas or big T traumas, the body is designed specifically, beautifully, uniquely in order to respond to those stresses. So as we respond to stress, my friends, there is nothing wrong with you. The issue lies in that we find ourselves in a place of that hypervigilance, hyperarousal, and we don't know how to come down. And it doesn't help, amigos, that we live in a society where everything moves at 100,000 miles an hour. Everything's at our fingertips. I mean, God bless our kids that are growing up in this world. I'm a child of the 80s. Things were a little easier then. There was still the Nintendos and games, but I mean, I still remember being outside and playing and discovering. And now everything you need to play with or discover, you can Google search, you can have in front of you. I don't know how to react. And this is not harping on anyone, but I don't know how to react to 2 to 3-year-old toddlers carrying iPads. But that's the state of the age that we're currently in. So please know that that continued speed that the world travels in keeps us there. So can we step off of that hamster wheel? Can we get off the hamster wheel for just a moment and remember that our bodies, through evolution, we're supposed to freak out. The problem is that when we freak out and our body hits a particular state, physically, mentally, soulfully, spiritually, we're only supposed to be there for just a little bit of time and only on occasion. So the reason why I brought up post-traumatic stress as a disorder and its labeling, the DSM-5 is this official manual. It's what people look into, all the doctors and the pharmaceutical companies and clinicians, especially when it comes to Western medicine. And they look through this DSM and they decided, okay, if you are suffering from this, this, and this, then that means you have this or potentially this. So we're going to give you this as a drug, this as a cocktail to drink in order for you to reduce the inflammation, whatever it is. If you go see an endocrinologist and you're dealing with issues, they're going to probably potentially say to you, we're going to treat it with a steroidal anti-inflammatory. You go see the orthopedist, I'm having knee pain. Well, let's take either non-steroidal or steroidal anti-inflammatories. You go to the dermatologist, I'm having these breakouts. I'm having these little patches, skin flashes and heat and these little hives. Great, here's a steroidal cream. The steroidal creams, pills, the basis in this pharmaceutically is cortisol. Cortisol is a stress hormone. Our bodies produce it naturally when we encounter situations. It's through evolution why we were protected when the woolly mammoth. I know we were never around woolly mammoths. I just like the woolly mammoth because it reminds me of Snuffleupagus from Sesame Street. So imagine the woolly mammoth is trying to come into our cave. What did we do? We learned to either run away, fight it, or freeze and play dead. Animals to this day will play dead in order to escape predators. Humans play dead too. It's called fainting. So through evolution, all this happens. Cortisol is then produced by the body to help us get that superhuman strength to lift up that car. We've heard these stories. Miracles is what we call them, but the body's so capable of these things. But then we go see the doctors and we're told steroidal cream, steroidal anti-inflammatory, cocktail pills. We're treating the stress with stress. Think about that for a second. If that's not reason enough to question, oh, but wait, we're also in a current state of our country where pharmaceutical companies run monopolies. Healthcare administrations, pharmaceutical companies have to come into a place of union in order to make money. That's a whole other soapbox topic. So how can we battle, honestly, the stresses, some of the illnesses that we're dealing with? We can reduce our body's capability to freak out and then come back. So before I go into why, I keep saying that. It's like I'm teasing it. So if we can start to shift our language, post-traumatic stress isn't a disorder. It isn't a disease. Your body, again, to protect you, will go into a place of post-traumatic stress. Maybe there's a struggle. Maybe there's an illness. But it's fully recoverable from. It just takes time and patience and effort. Again, I'm someone who 5 years ago was in a completely different mindset. So when it comes to restoration, reformation, rejuvenation. Don't even get me started on redemption. But all of it came from being able to control my breath. Your body's respiratory system is the only system in your body that you can voluntarily control. So once again, I invite you, wherever you're seated, wherever you're sitting, laying down, hearing me, watching me, Come back to that place where you were consciously taking deep breaths. And as you continue to breathe, my invitation to you is to relax the shoulders. Maybe there's some wiggling of the toes and the fingers. Maybe there's a very gentle shaking of the head. No, no to the nonsense. Maybe very gently shake your head. Yes, this is yes to the good. Yes to what we deserve. But just giving yourself a moment to connect to your body. And as you breathe in, can I invite you to extend that exhale if this is something that feels safe for you and comfortable? If not, just come to a regular pattern of breathing. But the idea behind breathing in and then imagining the exhale anywhere from 5 to 6 seconds longer. Play with that. Breathing in. And then extending the exhale. Utilizing your core strength. So imagine what it feels like if someone's about to tickle you. Squeezing. So squeezing through your belly, through your groin, through your pelvis to push all of the air out before you take another breath in. What you are doing right now is setting yourself up for a beautiful series of successes. How do we protect ourselves? How do we protect ourselves from the stresses of work or the kids or a country that doesn't care about us or the stresses of traveling? Well, we can eat good food, hydrate, enjoy a coffee, enjoy what makes you feel good. Treat yourself. Oh, by all means, please treat yourself. That nourishing self-care and treatment, but also with what you just did. Taking that deep breath in. I'm going to invite you once again, breathing in, extending the exhale as you listen to the sound of my voice. Find the body relaxing the shoulders. People will talk about straightening the spine. I don't believe in teaching that because you can't straighten the spine. The spine is a natural J shape. So just imagine a tall spine. I'm a professional dancer. I started dancing professionally when I was 15. So I'm from the ballet and modern world. So I think be the ballerina. So it's a long neck, shoulders open. You wonder why our society is shaped like this. Well, we're here on the phones here, and we also don't open ourselves up to breathe. So as you continue to breathe, what's happening now is that your body's heartbeats is continuing. Your GI tract is digesting food, your kidneys are filtering, your immune systems, lymphatic systems are fighting disease. You're also giving your body a better opportunity to grow your hair and your nails. Well, not my hair, but all of the systems are coming together. And you're helping simply by breathing. So how do we take our body physically from a place where we're stressed or ill or beat up or carrying little t traumas, big T traumas, and find redemption, find reformation, find ourselves improving the state of being, finding ourselves relinquishing the self-destructive thoughts, lifestyles, hindrances, obstacles. I'm going to get very nerdy with you very quickly. And please let me know if any of this is too much. The body's central nervous system. Yes. The autonomic nervous system is then broken down into two systems. We're all familiar, I'm going to assume, or just by show of hands, with the term fight or flight and the terms rest and digest. Awesome. I see Ishmael. Thanks, brother. Fight or flight is your body's sympathetic nervous system. Fun fact, did you know that as you breathe in 25,000 times a day, as you breathe in, the sympathetic nervous system, fight or flight, is activated. That's your body telling you, you have to breathe in because guess what? We got something happening. We got to go to war. We got to go to fight. We got to make sure we run away. We got to be ready to go. This is the body doing all of that. It is on the exhale that the parasympathetic nervous system is activated. That's rest and digest. So think about this for just a moment. With every single breath cycle, every inhale and exhale, your body is activated, ready to go to war. Your body is then told, we're good, which is why I asked you to extend the exhale. That's technique number one, extended exhale technique. I'm going to write into the chat. The extended exhale technique gives your body the opportunity to let itself know, yo, we good. I'm safe. Okay, no, there's no danger. I'm all right. My friends, when I first moved to New York City, I'm from Texas. So from El Paso, raised in Houston. Right now I'm in Texas, currently caretaking for my family. And Texas is stressing me out. I mean, majority of us, I think, are in Texas. But prior to that, like I'd get on the train in New York and it'd be too crowded. And I could feel myself losing my, oh, hey, hold on. It's crowded. Yeah, it's rush hour. Find myself extending that exhale 15 to 20 seconds. Okay, you're good. Step off the train. I survived. Yay. But I'd have to do that multiple times a day. So that extended exhale technique is just one variation in order to give your body the indicator that you're good, that you're okay. So the minute we start to do that, you're activating what we call the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is the largest nerve in the body. It's responsible for decompressing. It's responsible for a calming effect. It helps to increase blood flow, oxygenate tissues. Just know the vagus nerve is good. And please know that your body is also beautifully designed to handle all of these stresses. Again, nothing wrong with this. There is nothing wrong with this. There is absolutely nothing wrong with this. If you're not freaking out about something, or you're not stressing about something, or you're not getting upset or angry, then that is cause to look at and maybe investigate why. But we're supposed to. So where we find that balance is in that breath. Taking that breath allows us to be in a more comfortable position to respond, but it takes practice. So much practice. So I'm going to ask you all, if you don't mind, to spend the next couple of moments with me. And we're going to find ourselves really concentrating, if you haven't already been. And we're going to spend maybe 3 minutes here. Getting comfortable. Maybe the arms rest at your sides. Maybe they're just comfortable. And comfort is whatever it is for you. Because guess what? You can apply this while you're making the coffee in the morning. You can do this on your drive to work. You can get to a stoplight and take 3 deep breaths there. So please know that what you're doing now is accessible to you anywhere at any time. With purpose, allowing the body to be comfortable. The invitation now is extended to you. If you feel safe and are comfortable, maybe the eyes close. If not, focus on something in front of you. Matter of fact, if you're in a familiar room, my invitation to you is to look around the room and find something that you've never seen before, never noticed. Giving yourself a chance to come back to the body, to what you see. What do you hear as the body breathes in? As the exhale extends, what sounds are nearby? What sounds are off in the distance? What do you feel against your skin? The air from a fan, the AC, fabric of your clothes, all the while just breathing in and breathing out. Are there remnants of breakfast still in your mouth? Again, as you continue to breathe, tapping into what you see, hear, feel, taste. And over the course of the next 2 to 3 breath cycles, can you create now some of the biggest, deepest, longest breaths you've taken yet? And allow the body to naturally and lovingly exhale however you feel most comfortable. If you are in a place of stillness, allowing some movement to come into fingertips and toes. But think about what's connected. Fingertips connected to your hand, your toes connected to your foot, rolling through the wrists, rolling through the ankles. Imagine the energy surging through your arms, through your legs, passing through the calves, the knees, outside of them bows that you sometimes have to throw, through the body, entering the torso, moving through your pelvis, through your groin. And once we hit the center torso, that's where our most vital organs live. So imagine that you're now sending love and blood to your liver, your pancreas, your kidneys, your intestines, your stomach, your heart, sending that love into your spine. That spine then is connected into your brain. I'd be curious if through comment or the chat, if you feel anything. But what you just did is accessible, again, anytime. That's all meditation is. Meditation isn't sitting on the mountaintop, cross-legged, stroking a beard. I always think of that one scene in Ace Ventura. Maybe I'm dating myself, but Ace Ventura at some point is like meditating. And I've had the 4-month-old beard. I'm digging Ishmael's beard. He's the only face I can see right now. But maybe he sits there and strokes his beard. Maybe you do what I learned in a cognitive behavioral therapy support group. Because remember, I'm not just a teacher. I'm a regular attendee. I have to attend my support groups in order to maintain my own physical, mental, spiritual, soulful health. But if you can see on the back of my phone here, there are a couple stickers, little heart stickers. So I've trained myself. I have stickers on the inside of my wallet as well. So every time I reach in to grab my debit card or my MTA card to get on the train, every time I see this sticker, I take one conscious, controlled, deep breath. Just one. So with that being said, as many times as I pick up this phone, I must meditate 25 to 30 times a day. Develop what's going to work for you. So maybe it's a sticker on your water bottle. Maybe it's a sticker on the inside of your wallet. Maybe it's a sticker on the outside of your phone. Maybe it's a Post-it note on your mirror so that when you go in to brush your teeth, the Post-it says breathe, or the Post-it note says I love you, or the Post-it note says I'm proud of you, or the Post-it note says I got this. Whatever it is that you need, that's mantras and affirmations. That's a whole other soapbox talk, but I love them as well. I talk to myself all day. What you can't see on the corners of my laptop are my stickers. So you can give yourself the opportunity to develop a meditation practice. It just takes some patience and it takes some habit forming on your part. But meditation is accessible to you. It isn't just, oh, I have to go to a class or I got to download the app. And trust me, I work for several apps. You can find my recordings, you can find my teachings on multiple online platforms. I teach in person, I teach all over the world, but it's honestly something that you don't need me, friends. I want you to go to my website. I want you to sign up for my stuff, but you don't need me. What you need is maybe that alarm on your phone that goes off at 11:31 every day. And you know that you're going to take 3 deep breaths, just 3. Maybe those 3 deep breaths turn into 30. And that becomes your time for restoration. Your body physiologically, scientifically proven, is then being strengthened. And my friends, what do we need right now? I'm going to rephrase that. What do I need? I need strength. Lord, help me. I'm so tired. And I mean that. And it raises emotions in me because I'm tired. I know you're tired too. And so just before I have to log on to teach, I take a deep breath and I say to God, to whoever your higher power is, my God, be with me, guide me, allow me to continue to serve as an instrument of your will and peace. And then I take 5 deep breaths and then know, you know what? I'm ready to show up. After this is done, in 13 minutes, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to decompress. How often do you spend time taking care of you? Because guess what? You're needed. You're seen, you're heard, you're appreciated, you're so loved. Not just by me, but by your community, your family, your friends, your people, all the homies, everyone in your tribe. We need you. And how are we going to potentially serve anyone else from an empty cup of tea. I like to use the analogy, I can't serve you tea if my cup is empty. Even better than that, I'm going to have my cup of tea overflowing. So you don't get none from my cup. I'm going to serve you the excess from the saucer. Can you put yourself in a position to receive, to give, to restore, to reform? But it takes work, real hard self-betterment, self-inflection, self-education, self-enlightening work. And I know I've had the most trouble with myself. My insecurities rise, my self-doubt creeps in, my self-discouragement. Even now, I'm like, am I saying anything that's resonating? I hope. And because my insecurities are like, you got no place being here, bro. And I look over and I see Corey's comment. I appreciate how you helped to simplify and demystify how we can practice meditation. And Corey, that means the world to me. Because I didn't have anybody telling me that, at 15, after being raped, you could breathe to help ease the body's physical traumas. Because what I don't realize and didn't realize for the last 30 years is that my body remembers that. It's an excellent book. I'm going to put it in the chat called The Body Keeps the Score by a doctor named Dr. Vessel van der Kolk. Actually, look up the book. I don't want to misspell the doctor's last name. But he speaks to the somatic experience. So our bodies remember things. There's another one also called Waking the Tiger. This one is by Dr. Peter Levine. And these are psychosomatic experts in the field. Again, we're only looking at the physiological approach to breathing and what it can do to help heal the body 10, 15 years ago. Again, post-traumatic stress as a disorder was only officially labeled less than 22 years ago. So maybe rather than calling it a disorder, we say post-traumatic stress struggle. I tell people that I suffer from post-traumatic stress illness. I'm also officially diagnosed with anxiety and depression. And one of my first psychologists was like, we want to put you on an anti-depression medication. And I was weary against it. And I'm not against it because I know that it helps people. Because what's happening in my body was I had chemical imbalances, and these drugs can help with that. But what I'm telling you and teaching you, what we went over today with extended exhale technique, what we went over with finding a meditation practice, but by simply consciously breathing can also help. It's not the end-all cure-all, but I guarantee you, combination of this breath work, combination of wholesome eating, combination of finding some sort of movement. Notice I didn't say exercise, and this is the fitness coach saying this. I also teach CrossFit, I coach boxing, I teach technique, yoga, meditation. So as long as you're moving, so maybe it means riding the bike, maybe it means going on a walk, maybe it means hitting your 10,000 steps, checking your Apple Watch, walking around the living room, and finding ways to reduce your stress levels. That's how we're going to stay happy, healthy, and whole. Not guaranteed, because it takes what? Practice. Mark, shout out to Queensborn. Yes, raising Hollis, Jamaica, Queens. I love that. I just saw that comment. So my friends, we're going to wrap this up in just a minute. I'm going to ask, you want to ask questions. I want to share with you before I go, one of my most favorite statistics. Statistics, people throw them out there. Sometimes people make them up as they go along. But this is like scientifically proven. The organization that I'm an ambassador and master teacher for, the Veterans Yoga Project, was founded 10 years ago. We're celebrating our decade-long anniversary. And they were founded by a gentleman named Dr. Dan Libby, who is a psychologist. And he was working on his thesis, doctoral thesis, on why yoga and meditation was helping to reduce veterans' cases of post-traumatic stress disorder, post-traumatic stress illness, anxiety, and depression. And so here we are then with Vietnam veteran era vets. At the time, some Korean War vets, current conflict vets, and the regular yoga and meditation practice saw an 82 to 94% drop in the veterans' pain, increase in their improvement for sleep, as well as their awareness of mental health. 82 to 94%. of veterans. And we're talking veterans. I've met them. I've taught them. I've taught veterans with missing limbs and wheelchairs, 74 years old, telling me stories about Vietnam and how for 35 years they never slept. Can you imagine that? And then after a yoga nidra class, after a few weeks of meditation practice, they were finally able to sleep through the night. That's huge. And that's part of why I'm as impassioned as I am to be here, to share. So one more time, I'm going to ask you all to relax the body as best as you can. Please know that as you sit and take these last couple of collective breaths together, that your mind will never shut down. So if any meditation teacher ever says to you, hey, let's silence the mind, I want you to walk out of that room, I want you to turn it off. You can't do that. What I'm going to ask you to do right now as your body breathes is to simply slow down. Take every single thought you've got in your mind, acknowledge it. Okay, I see you, I hear you. Table that one for later. This one I'll have to take care of as soon as Ceasar stops talking. This one I can take care of next week. Your body's conscious, unconscious, and subconscious minds never, ever shut off. The minute that they shut off, my friends, means you're dead. So as you breathe with me, as the information swirls in your mind, maybe it engages and enters the heart, my invitation to you is to take one hand over heart center, one hand across the belly, and see if you can find your heart beating. Like, again, optional only, but find your heart physically beating. Feel your hand rise and fall with every breath. And can you take something that feels a little bit like gratitude and allow it to flow from you, through you, out to everything that surrounds you? Thanking first and foremost the most important person in the room. Yo, that's you. VIP. My friends, take a moment here if you can to thank your mind, your body, and soul and spirit for having carried you all of these years. Yo, we still here. And then the next wave of gratefulness, if you'll please extend it to your community, your family, your people, whether people have been with you for a season or two or your lifetime, they've been there to help you, to teach. And then finally, out loud or in your own brain, allow yourself to just admit one thing that you are grateful for. And maybe throughout the day, you remind yourself to just practice gratitude for several things. But I'm truly, truly grateful to have been able to sit here and share with you. Let's take a few moments. We got like less than 5. Fun fact, the act of practicing gratitude. So like if you're sitting and intentionally saying, thank you for this, thank you for that, releases the same positive neurochemicals that running and exercise does. Like sitting with and consciously practicing gratitude releases oxytocin, serotonin, dopamine, and you find yourself going, you know what? Oh man, I feel a little better. And that's what it is finding times to find just to feel a little bit better. I've talked too much. Let's hear from you. Any questions? Roderick, I appreciate you. Ishmael, yes, my friend, please.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. I know I came at the last minute, so I got like the end of it, but what I've heard, it was awesome, and I appreciate you for sharing and being open. Quick question. How did you, in COVID and isolation, how did you utilize this to keep your sanity when we were locked down?
Ooh, I'm gonna shake that one out. I'm gonna tell you the truth. My partner and I got sick. We spent 9 weeks sick with COVID between the end of March to the top of May. So having recovered, thank God, being told, Mark, you'll appreciate this, but like being told by the Queen's hospitals, like if you're not in respiratory arrest, you can't come. So then you're trying to relearn to breathe. So as a meditation teacher, I'm like, I had to work my way through it. And then the incident occurred when my partner and I separated in June. And then I spent, when she left, the next 10 months in isolation. And so I would even if it meant getting up from one side of the couch and moving to the other side of the couch, that was my movement. And if that was my movement for the day, I gave myself that grace. So it's giving yourself that opportunity to practice grace. More importantly, sometimes I think than the actual breathing techniques is to say, you know what, I'm not okay. And we're just now extending to businesses and corporations the idea of taking a mental health day. I had a teaching gig last week and I was like, yo, I'm not feeling this. I can't be here today. And if I can't be here today fully, there's no way that I'm going to be able to share. So it's giving yourself grace as well as practicing those techniques and just reminding yourself to breathe. Like I said, my stickers are everywhere. So it's giving yourself a chance to be reminded. Ishmael, I appreciate the question, brother.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate you, man.
Gratitude. Corey said, gratitude has helped me to survive the last 20 months, brother. Yeah. And sometimes it boils down to, yo, I got a roof over my head. I got some clothes on my body. I got a little money in my pocket. There's some food in my belly. There's some food in my kids' bellies, my wife's belly. I mean, sometimes it comes down to that simplicity. Corey, thank you for sharing that. Jose, Mr. Sosa, what are your thoughts on joy, happiness, being content, smile, laugh, sense of humor? Awesome question. Thank you for asking. My God's honest truth, I haven't felt extended moments of joy or happiness over the last 20 months. I've found fleeting moments. And so what I try to do is make myself aware of when I am feeling it. We're told by society, because we're raised on a system of rewards and punishments. If you feel good and you do good, guess what? You're going to get the pizza party on Friday. Because of perfect attendance, you're going to be told you get a degree, all of these things. But the minute you say, I don't feel well, or I'm angry, or I'm upset, then you're put into a place of punishment. Oh, you can't possibly feel that. Why are you so mad? Stop being angry. Why are you bitching and moaning? Yo. First off, hold up. There are no good or bad emotions. There were only our constructive and destructive reactions to them. So guess what? It's very possible, because I'm living proof right now, to feel gratitude. I'm feeling joy right now, Jose, but I'm also grief-stricken. I'm heartbroken. One of my men's group support brothers took his own life 2 weeks ago. I still miss my partner. My father right now is currently undergoing cancer treatments. So it's possible to feel sadness, pain, as well as joy, triumphant, happiness, and everything in between. Jose, I hope that answered your question. Ishmael, would love to connect. I'm going to put, and for everyone as well, I'm going to retype in my website, and would love, if any other further questions arise, to please reach out. I love hearing from people. It's the performer in me. I've been on stages since I was 8. I've been professionally performing since I was 15. I've worked with everyone literally from J-Lo to Chris Brown, Broadway Regional. I've gotten to do some really, 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 really cool things. And all of it I managed while still trying to manage this and this. And so please know that whatever's on your plate is possible to handle. Ishmael, I look forward to hearing from you. Please share your concerns, your thoughts, your questions, your celebrations. Let's chat. I'm not sure what's going on with time. Corey, I'm going to let you take over. But again, thank you all so, so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Ceasar. That was amazing. We appreciate you sharing and being so vulnerable. And so if you want to stay in touch with Ceasar, you can go to his website. Also on the Hoover app, we have access to all of our speakers where you'll get a chance to communicate with them, stay in touch with them, ask questions, and that information will get to them as well. So we're going to stop recording in this session, and then we have another session that's going to start at 11:35. So get you a bathroom break, a water break, a breathing break, and
breathing break.
We'll see you guys in five minutes.